funky and comfortable. And then when it's like maybe like 6:03, we can get started.
Perfect. You guys are live.
We're live. All right. Welcome everyone to our first Ohanga Facebook live stream. We're here in our Newport store. This is Madison D'Arezzo, owner and creator of 42020 Visionaries. So I think before we start our talk, we're going to wait for a couple of more people to join us, and then we'll get started. Yeah, so I'm glad you could make it today, even though the weather's kind of gross.
Yeah, the store is absolutely beautiful, so if anybody hasn't got the chance to stop by, make sure that's on the list of to-dos.
Yeah, absolutely. Usually this is actually where we stage our beautiful prints and like our cards and our gift cards. But this fireplace is the perfect setting for our Ohanga live videos. In fact, one of the first names we thought of was like fireside chat or like talking by the fire, because this is the kind of place where you have these kinds of conversations. So,
do you guys have anything else lined up for upcoming or?
Well, we're still putting our feelers out, seeing what our creatives want to talk about, because really this is for you guys to see what you want to share with the community. So we do have a couple more coming up, but they just haven't been announced yet.
Next, well, I'm excited to be the first.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, I think we can probably get started now. So again, for our newcomers, welcome to Ohanga Live. This is our first Facebook live streaming. We're really excited to have Madison D'Arezzo here today, owner of 42020 Visionaries and part of course, the Ohanga creative community. My name is Maggie, and I will be asking Madison some questions about her business. So maybe that's what we can start out with. You can tell us a little bit about your business, what you do, and then talk a little bit about these beautiful products we have on display here.
Okay, awesome. So, I'm Madison D'Arezzo. I'm owner of 42020 Visionaries, currently residing at the Shady Lee Mill in North Kingstown, Rhode Island. And I focus on topical aromatherapy products and essential oil blends, as well as some CBD products. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what is CBD, what is aromatherapy, and how could you maybe introduce them or use them in your life if you don't already.
Awesome, great. All right, so let's just get right to it.
Awesome.
What is CBD? And let's clarify some mythology, because I know there's a lot of different opinions out there, a little bit of prejudice, so feel free to disperse all of those.
Okay, awesome. So CBD, for one, is short for cannabidiol. It is the active ingredient in hemp and some cannabis plants, but it's been recently studied and extracted for a whole bunch of different purposes. So it's definitely been introduced to the world in the past really 10 or so years, has increased in popularity a lot in how people are using it. So it's come from tinctures and topicals and things like that. CBD is a cannabinoid, so there's really 10 or so that have been actively studied, but there's upwards of 100 that have been found, and they're just starting to be numbered and kind of explored a little bit more. So another cannabinoid is going to be THC, which people primarily know as the intoxicating compound of smoking cannabis. So CBD is a non-psychoactive compound, which is why it's so beneficial for most people to use, and it's also legal within the states.
Okay, great. And so are there different types of CBD available on the market? How does that work?
Absolutely. So in terms of the types available on the market, you're going to see a couple really labeled that are usually used for marketing, such as Cbd Isolate, full spectrum CBD, or broad spectrum or THC free. So Cbd Isolate, as the name implies, is purely the isolated cannabinoid. So it actually is flavorless, it's odorless, and they've just extracted the CBD from the plant originally. There's also full spectrum CBD, which full spectrum is, as well as the name implies, is the full extract of the plant. So it contains a little bit of other phytochemicals, including cannabinoids, terpenes, and a little bit of THC. Actually, under the legal limit is as long as it's below 0.3%, it's able to be considered full spectrum and still sold on the market. If it is above 0.3%, that is when it's considered cannabis, and it can no longer be sold as a CBD product.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's also broad spectrum, which is kind of right in the middle. So broad spectrum is THC removed, but it still has the other terpenes and cannabinoids.
Cool, awesome. So why would people want to use CBD? What kind of products is it in, and how would someone incorporate that into their daily life?
Yeah, so as some people might see, CBD has made its way into a variety of products that maybe some people didn't expect for them to be in. anything from topicals to beverages, even to hand sanitizers and lip balms. So CBD has a very anti-inflammatory effect, which is probably what it's used most for when taken internally, as well as used topically, and pain relief. So that can be combined in a salve with THC if it's, if you're using it for medicinal purposes as well, and as well as seizures. So it's probably been studied most extensively for its ability to reduce and prevent seizures in several types of epilepsy, and it's actually already an FDA-approved drug on the market. Is almost fully CBD. So that's really what it's been studied most extensively for, and what it's being used for most. But people will take CBD in combinations with other botanical extracts for sleep, anxiety, insomnia, and all stuff like that as well.
Cool, and you have some CBD in some of your products too, right?
Yeah, so everything in terms of CBD that I focus on is topically, because in that sense I'm able to combine them with essential oils and direct them for a specific goal, such as the product right here is the muscle soothing salve. So that is like a topical balm that you can apply for pain relief for post-workout, sprains and tendons. And then there's also body oils, but primarily everything that I focus on is topical because of the ability to combine with the essential oils. And then there's also, you can take them in the form of tinctures and gummies and stuff like that.
Okay, cool. So your products are topical, but what kind of effects does CBD have internally in the body?
So internally is really where it gets to interact with what is known as the endocannabinoid system. So our body actually has an endocannabinoid system which is able to intake, THC, CBD, and all these cannabinoids, as well as produce what is known as endocannabinoids, basically cannabis-like molecules that our body actually produces that are impacting a lot of other functions in our body, such as sleep, anxiety, hormones, and even eating, and really pretty much every system in the body is interacting with the endocannabinoid system. So for taking internally, it helps to, number one, regulate and feed that system. So there's actually a few theories that a few different conditions such as migraines and fibromyalgia could possibly be arising from the endocannabinoid deficiency. Basically, our body doesn't produce the endogenous cannabinoids at the level that it should be. So for one, taking CBD is able to regulate that system and help us to produce more of our own endogenous cannabinoids. It is also helping with regulate sleep, and the biggest thing is anti-inflammatory. So really targeting where the body needs it, and just really maintaining the endocannabinoid system and putting it in every day.
Okay, cool. So it seems like CBD has a lot of really good impacts on the body, both topically but also internally. But I know I've heard of a lot of people having a prejudice against CBD products. So how have you encountered that and kind of worked with it? How do you, help your customers get over that initial prejudice?
So yeah, that's definitely something that I deal with a lot. I just talk about people, and I think the biggest thing is education. So realizing and having a good relationship with your supplier and making sure that you realize and you know exactly what the product you're getting is. Because it's such an unregulated market, there is basically a lot of products that slip through and make it onto the shelves that really shouldn't make it onto the shelves, and that might be for a few reasons. So number one being the pesticides. So because it is an outdoor crop, it can be frequently sprayed with pesticides, which then exist in the concentrates and then the materials that they're being put in. So that's something that really backtracks the whole purpose of creating this product. If it's going to be contaminated, it can also be contaminated with heavy metals because of hemp's ability to draw these contaminants from the soil. And then lastly, extraction processes. When you're extracting typically with butane, propane, or CO2 extraction, they need to just make sure that it's done with care, and that all of these solvents are then extracted out of the material. So at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you are getting a cannabinoid test that shows that it has not only been tested for potency, but also for heavy metals and solvents and pesticides as well, because some of those products can slip onto the market if they haven't been tested beforehand. And along with that, because the market is so just really unregulated, if a product says it contains 1,000 milligrams, it might not contain that. So you have to really make sure that you trust your supplier and that they are able to show you that what they are producing is what actually it is.
Okay. So, moral of the story, everyone should get their CBD products from 2020 Visionaries.
Or someone who is able to provide the correct documentation. Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Because, you know, a lot of companies, and whether you're searching for yourself or searching, you know, really what you're searching for is make a product for yourself or to make a product for other people. Along the line, there's a lot of companies that simply won't be able to or won't want to provide you with the documentation and the information that you're asking for. So that's really important, and it's just, they should be able to. And if they aren't able to, then that's definitely a bad sign.
Yeah, it seems like a red flag.
Yes.
All right, so I guess now we can move on to aromatherapy because you're an aromatherapist yourself.
Yes.
So would you like to define what aromatherapy is in general first before we get into the details?
Awesome. So aromatherapy is another broad spectrum topic, but aromatherapy is in general the use of aromatic plants, extracts, and botanicals for maintaining wellness purposes. So that could really be anything from perfume to clean body care, to actually maintaining and promoting wellness, whether that be emotional or physical as well. So for pain relief, and also just for like mood boosting properties, and just really putting a smile on your face at the end of the day.
Aww. So I know essential oils play a part in aromatherapy. So what are essential oils and how are they extracted from plants? Because that's where they come from, right?
Yeah, so absolutely, an essential oil or something being sold as an essential oil is absolutely supposed to come from plants. This is another market that is, again, pretty unregulated. So a lot of what are known as fragrance oils will be sold as essential oils, basically synthetic compounds that smell or resemble, you know, similar constituents to a lavender oil, but it's not actually what it says it is. So essential oils should be just the volatile components of plants, which is why they are such, for the most part, not very inexpensive materials. It takes a lot of plant material to end up with a really small amount of essential oils. So essential oils are primarily steam distilled, which is actually, you'll have, you know, a bunch of plant material, and there's actually boiling water that's in steam that passes through the plant material, then carries the aromatic compounds up with the steam, when it is then condensed down and turns back into a water and an oil compound. You're left with the essential oils. So not all plants are aromatic plants, and therefore not all plants contain essential oils, but the ones that are aromatic are what we can extract these essential oils from. So they're most often steam distilled, as the citrus oils are usually extracted via expression, so actually just pressing the rinds and the oil will come out that way.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about why it's important to source your CBD with care. So clearly it seems like the essential oil industry is also not very regulated. So why is it important to source your essential oils with care, and what risks do you run if you don't pay attention?
So the most important reason to source them with care is really for your own good, and people can, you know, settle for what they would like to, and if they want to just diffuse them, it's, you know, I think a lot of people just find that the easier way and don't understand why it's so important. But when you really think about the purpose of aromatherapy, even from small things such as diffusion, and especially when you put these ingredients on your body, you want to make sure that they are natural and that they're not synthetic. So when you're diffusing, for example, it's these tiny molecules that are able to get through the nasal pathway and produce these effects. It's not going to be the same if it is a laboratory product as opposed to an actual authentic plant. So that's definitely the biggest reason to source with care, as well as, you know, when you're buying these products, they could be pre-diluted, as well as they could be sprayed with pesticides, and the same as hemp. You know, all of these plants, for the most part, are grown outdoors, so if they're not grown with good practices, then the essential oils are never going to be of good quality.
Okay, and how can you use essential oils in your daily life? What kind of products can you find them, and how can you incorporate them into your routine?
So really, if you started your morning and finished your morning, you could include essential oils in a bunch of different parts of your day. So to break it down into a few categories, you can apply them topically, whether that be in like a salve or a massage oil for pain relief. Also for clean body care, so instead of using a fragrance oil, which could have upwards of 100 to 200 ingredients to produce a single fragrance, this is just one single ingredient that you can apply that way for natural perfumes, body care products and lotions and things like that. And you can also use it through olfaction or inhalation, so that could be by carrying around an inhaler tube for anxiety purposes, or even for stimulating. So if you're kind of
feeling a little low at the middle of the day, you can do a quick room spray with some uplifting essential oils like peppermint or some citruses. That'll maybe help you kind of get out of your slump state in the middle of the day, as well as diffusing them like during work or study and before bed as well.
Awesome. And actually, speaking of like, lifting the mood and putting a smile on your face, I know one of your products is a mask spray, because you talked about using also essential oils in your workday, and I'm just thinking about like teachers and about, even us when we're, working in the store, we have to wear masks all day, so it's such a huge relief to just be able to like get some like good smells in your body, relax a little bit, put a smile on your face.
Yeah, so that was definitely a product that I didn't anticipate to be making, but I actually got a few requests for something similar within the same week, so I was like, okay, this is kind of a sign that maybe I should start working on this. So the mask spray is something that is just that. It's just to put a smile on your face, and when you go to put your mask on after lunch or something, it's just been on for the whole day, and you need a little bit something besides your breath, you can just refresh it with the mask refresher spray, and it just provides just a boost of essential oils, which almost always when you put it on, you do smile as opposed to just like, having to put your mask on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, just using it for something really small, even when if you cut lemons and you slice citruses at your house, that's actually producing essential oils in the air as well. So that's why sometimes, if you're making orange juice, it'll just make you happy because those aromatic molecules are just spreading throughout your kitchen.
Oh, that's so nice. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, speaking about your products, Ohanga has a Mother's Day gift box, and Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday, and I believe we have your Lavender Body Oil. So
Absolutely.
do you want to talk a little bit about that?
The Lavender Body Oil is actually a collaboration with another brand as well called Fort Hill Farms, and they're based in Connecticut. So Kristen actually harvests her own organically grown lavender, and we're able to produce that into a lavender infused oil and then add lavender essential oil as well. So that is a wonderful after shower oil, a body oil, and it makes a really great massager as well for a Mother's Day massage.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those of you still looking for presents for their mothers, our Ohanga Mother's Day gift box is still available. We have Madison's wonderful body oil and a lot of great goodies. So, Now, I have a question just for you personally. Were you into essential oils and CBD products before you started for 2020 Visionaries?
Oh, I was into CBD products, and then I started learning about essential oils and taking courses, and I realized that I really loved essential oils as well. And then I realized kind of how well that they paired together. And then for 2020 Visionaries was kind of stemmed through that love. I started making products, and people really enjoyed them. And then it kind of just started rolling from there, and now here we are 3 years later.
So I imagine you've converted your entire family, all of your friends, into using healthier products.
Yep, absolutely.
That's awesome. Great.
So just making sure, because in America specifically, it's very unregulated in terms of what is allowed to be in our products. So really, we're just loaded with a bunch of chemicals that other countries don't even allow in their personal care products. So just doing a little bit of research and realizing maybe what you might be able to sub things out for is just a good start. It might inspire people to go along with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much for being here with us today in our Ohanga Newport location. I think that's about all the questions we had for you. Thank you so much for explaining everything, and I really hope all of our viewers have a better understanding now of CBD products, essential oils, and how they can be used in our daily lives.
So I'm really glad to be here, and so thank you guys for having me, and I can't wait to keep watching them as it go along.
Yes, absolutely, in our fireside location.
And if anyone has any questions too, they can always reach out to me or you guys, and we can have a conversation about it as well.
Awesome, yeah. So you guys can find Madison's contact information at ohanga.com, and also your website is
for 2020visionaries.com.
There you go. So shoot us all of your questions. All right, thank you.